Hey, it's Eryn. I don't know if I told you, but no one really has it all figured out.
Hey, I don't knowers, and welcome to IDK If I Told You. Today, I'm chatting with my best friend Sydney to spill all the tea on the jump from high school to college, how it felt to start fresh and navigate 6 hours apart, and also learn independence. So let's get real. All right. Hi, Sydney. I'm so excited for this.
Hi, bestie.
This has been a long time coming. Let me tell y'all, this has been a long time coming. Oh
No,
my
because
goodness.
tell me why we've been talking about doing this for like 2 years now.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think a good place for us to start is to talk about when we became friends. Because it's actually kind of funny because I have a different timeline than Sydney. So and I was thinking about that before the episode even started. So if you want to explain your part of it, and then I'll give mine. So
Okay, so my timeline for us, I knew you in middle school. Obviously, that's how we met. We met through
yes,
somebody.
yeah, it
But
was just someone.
just somebody. We met through some
Mhm.
random girl back then. We didn't really become, in my book, we didn't become really good friends until graduation. Like
Okay,
right
then we
before
can.
graduation. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Because we met in high school, we talked in high school, we were friends, but we didn't become really close until like right before graduation and then like your graduation party and
yeah.
everything. And then it just took off from there.
Yeah. So, to be honest, guys, our friendship started the summer before Sydney went away to college. So, basically, our entire best friendship has been us apart.
Virtual.
So yeah, it's been tough, but we're going to give you guys the tips on how to navigate that and how to navigate the jump from high school to college. So yeah, but we grew up in the same hometown and yeah, but what was your high school experience like?
Mine was it was there.
Yeah,
I
there.
I so much wanted it to be like it was in the movies, lots of friends, parties, fun.
Yes.
That was
Same.
not my experience. We were both
Yes.
very awkward teenagers.
Mhm.
Me more so than you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was a band nerd. I was in marching band, choir. I literally went home, did homework. I went to church youth group. Like I was a little nerd. I had a small group of friends in each area that I hung out. I didn't really do much. I didn't hang out with my friends outside of school. I didn't do anything other than do my homework and get through my day most times. So
Yeah.
I was very isolated in high school.
Definitely. That was me too. I literally my entire routine was getting on that bus all day, every day, didn't drive to school at all, got on that bus, went to school and went back home, did homework, and then I was on an outside of school dance team and went there maybe 3 times a week. Maybe that was at most. But like yeah, didn't hang out with friends. The only time we hung out was like homecoming dances
And that wasn't
and
even outside of school.
it wasn't even outside of school, but, and, well, with football games, you weren't up in the stands with us,
Nope.
so we didn't
I was on the
really hang.
field.
Yeah, she was on the field. So, yeah, we didn't really hang out much, and I do remember I actually found a picture today of us from Halloween. I believe it was our freshman year when we
It
were
would have been
wearing.
freshman year. Yeah. Because you and our other friend bought them together, and I saw you
Mhm.
in them at school. I'm like, I have the same one.
Yes.
I still have that onesie, actually.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's under my bed back home.
Rid of it. Yeah, I think I may have gotten rid of. Yeah. That was, like, I believe one of the only times we ever hung out outside of school.
And that wasn't even planned.
Oh.
It was really spontaneous.
Yeah, that was really spontaneous, and then COVID happened, and we definitely lost touch. COVID hit our sophomore year of high school, our 2nd semester,
Hmm.
and, we definitely lost touch there, which was
Yeah.
really sad because I was very isolated at that time. I had to leave dance. I didn't really have any friends, so didn't really have anybody. And then
Nope.
eventually came back senior year, and that's when Sydney and I became best friends. So,
Yeah. Much love.
but I really feel like when we connected, it was at prom.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Because
distinct
I
memory
had just
in
lost a big group of friends. And were we at the same table? No, you were at the table right behind
no,
me. Yeah, because I went with my then boyfriend and that friend group, and that was a whole experience in of it in and of itself. But
really, prom
we
was
we ran into
now.
each other there. We took pictures. It was a fun night because you were there. I didn't really have many other friends to talk to that night either. So
Yeah. Yeah. Prom was definitely interesting. I do think back to that time and I look back at videos and stuff and I just reminisce on those times dancing and just hanging out. And I'm like, wow, like this is the night I really clicked with Sydney because for so long I had really wanted to be friends with Sydney. And I was so intimidated.
I don't know why everyone's so intimidated of me. I'm not that scary, I
You were
swear.
an academic weapon.
In
Oh,
high school, I was for sure.
so
College was definitely an adjustment, but in high school, that was my thing for sure.
yeah, let's actually transition to that. How did you make your college decision? Because you went 6 hours, just about 6 hours away from our hometown.
Mhm. Yeah. So I looked into a lot of schools. I applied lots of places, but before I did, I went on college visits with my mom. I visited Valparaiso, Indiana. I liked the campus. I vibed with it. That was the one that I liked the most right off the bat, but it was a private institution, 40K a year.
Oh,
I
yeah,
cannot
no,
afford that. I can barely afford the school I'm at now.
most people
So
can't afford that nowadays.
that one, I still applied. I got in, but unfortunately, I decided that I could not go there. My dream school at the time was actually University of Iowa. I have
Right.
family 30 minutes away. I loved the idea of going to a Big Ten college. I love the idea of getting like the movie college experience. I definitely still got that where I am, but that was the college that I wanted to go to. That wasn't realistic. I went and visited the campus. It was nothing like I had imagined. The dorm rooms were minuscule with really low ceilings. The campus was damn near unwalkable. It was like a 30 or 40 minutes end to end with really steep hills, and I'm not athletic. Anybody would tell you I'm not. I was out of breath halfway through the
Right.
tour. And the only thing that grabbed my attention was the smoothie bar at the gym.
That's funny. That's actually so real. With emphasis, y'all. With
With
emphasis.
emphasis.
That's a catch
But
that y'all will be hearing a lot with emphasis. But continue.
mm, I was looking for schools with my pre-health track that I was going for. I'm currently going for pre-physician assistant. I wanted a school with a physician assistant program so I didn't have to transfer. That was the goal. I didn't think there were many schools in Illinois with the option, so I wasn't really looking. And then my mom brought up the idea of Southern Illinois University. I looked at it online. I hated how it looked. It looked boring and stiff and just not what I wanted in a college. But my mom's like, we're making the trip. We hopped in the car a month later, drove 6 hours down one road into the middle of nowhere. I fell in love with the school. It is a beautiful campus. There's woods everywhere, so much nature. Like we were on my campus tour and we saw deer within 10 feet of us in the middle of campus woods.
Oh, wow.
It was beautiful. It had everything I wanted in a school. It had my program. It had what seemed like really nice, supportive people. On top of it, I had a marching band, so I could keep spinning for color guard in college, which I didn't think college still had. So I was ecstatic to choose this school. And that is where I ended up, obviously.
Yes, that's awesome. Unlike Sydney, I did not take that path. I was a good student. At the time I had I believe it was like a 3.8 GPA. So I could
You were
basically
you were
at
just below me.
I know. That's
Just
wow.
barely.
Just below me.
No, just barely. You had a really good GPA. I think it was just like there was only like one or two classes that you made yourself overly anxious in, which
Right.
is why
Yeah, I was
you didn't do
yes.
as well as you could have.
Yes, agreed. I
You definitely
overthought
could have
every
taken honors classes. You just weren't confident in yourself at the time.
Yep. That's so true. That's so true.
I
But
trust. I knew you back then.
I applied to multiple schools because at the time I was taking forgot what the class was called, but it was like a college readiness class,
Mhm.
and they made you apply to 6 schools. Did I want to go to these 6 schools? No, but I had to in order to do the assignment. And so I did.
I
And I
hope they at
only
least paid the app fees.
no, I didn't do schools with application fees because I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna go here. Why would I pay an application fee?
Smart.
So if you're not 100%, that's a tip for everybody. If you are not sure where you want to go, not the greatest idea to pay an
I will
application.
say a campus visit also makes all of the
True.
difference.
Yep,
Anyway,
exactly. And that's what I did. I narrowed down my 2 options to our local community college and to the school that I'm at now, Northern Illinois University. And when I visited NIU, I was like, "My goodness, what is this place?" I was like, "No, I am not living in these dorms. They are so tiny, they're so gross." To anybody that lives in the dorms, props to you, but I just not my thing at all. No, no, no. And I was just not about that life at all. And honestly, I knew myself and I knew that I just wasn't ready to go away to school. My mental health was not the greatest at the time, and I was still trying to get my life back on track. And plus, I didn't really know what my major was going to be. I had an idea, but I wasn't 100% confident in that. And I didn't want my parents to have to pay for school where I'm not 100% sure. So I decided to go to my local community college. I was familiar with it. I had done dance recitals there, but never really looked into the academics part of it. And when I saw the campus, I instantly fell in love. It was so amazing. The people were just so nice, from admissions to the professors to even the students. They were just so amazing and just it was just such a great experience for me. And I'm so glad that I went to community college because not only did it prepare me for what I wanted to do with my life and my career path, but it also helped me mature because, like I said earlier, I had taken the bus to school all my life from kindergarten to senior year of high school. And now I had to drive to campus. I had never done that before. So it really taught me that independence part of it where I had to actively get behind the wheel and drive myself to school rather than relying on somebody to take me there. I'm very glad that I ended up at community college and I graduated almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy, with my associates in arts and then transferred here to NIU, which is crazy.
no, I was so proud of you. I was at your graduation with your family. I was
Yes,
so,
you
so
were.
proud. But I will
Yes.
say that is one of the good things about community college. As you know, I did 2 years there while we were in high school getting my CNA certification. And they are much more supportive than a big university that has
Definitely.
hundreds of thousands of students. Because it's such a small campus, they really focus individually on you and they know you. They remember you. That is the one thing I did like better about community college and having those classes because they do work so closely with you and they do genuinely care.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I got close with several of my English professors because I knew that that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to go into English. I don't know if I've said this yet, but that's my major is English and writing. And I had that in the back of my head, but I wasn't 100% confident. And my professors at my community college encouraged me to further pursue that. But I will say the downside of community college life was the lack of social life I had and the loneliness that I had. A lot of my friends that I went to high school with, they went away to school. One of them being Sydney. So it was really difficult to navigate that at the beginning of college when we first started. I actually thought she didn't want to be my friend anymore because she was not responding to me. But then I found out later on that it was just her internet like
It was a really, 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 really bad internet. My internet is much better that I have a private internet box now, but it was terrible.
That whole internet thing, it was really hard staying in touch. And also, I knew that she was going out and doing things and meeting new people and getting involved. Whereas I was just, like I said, going from home to classes and then back home. And I have a job like once a week, but that was about it. I wasn't really getting out. So our experiences at the beginning were very different. But when I did transfer to NIU, I will say one of the biggest pieces of advice that Sydney gave me was to take risks and to always say yes. That's my
Mhm. That
biggest thing. And I'm telling
that
you,
is
like
my motto.
I seriously wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that. Seriously.
No, it is one of the best things that I ever figured out in coming to my school. If you don't take risks, if you're not willing to say yes to anything, you miss out on so many opportunities because
Absolutely.
just getting outside of your comfort zone is the hardest part, especially being in a new place.
Absolutely. Yeah, because those first 18 years of our lives, we rely so heavily on our parents to do things for us, to take us places and to make plans for us and so on and so forth. And making that leap to say yes to meeting new friends and going out, going to networking events, putting yourself involved in clubs or like Sydney in bands. I know Sydney is also in a sorority. She even changed her entire identity when she went away to college. If you'd like to touch on that, I would love it.
So, as I said earlier in high school, I had a very, very negative mental view of myself and how I was identified. I was very heavily tied to a specific friend, and my nerdiness, my dorkiness, my family often didn't let me forget that that's who I was. In going 6 hours away, where I knew that no one from my school was going, I wanted to take the opportunity to fully embrace who I wanted to be. I did, in fact, start with changing my name, which I do not make Eryn call me because
Thank
she knows me as
God.
Sydney.
Like, okay, sorry, tangent. I love her nickname. Okay, I really do. It's so funny because every time I'm on FaceTime with her and I say, Sydney, 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 and she has a college friend in the room, they're always like,
Huh?
Sydney, who's that? Because no one down at her school calls her Sydney. So it's just, yeah. But
I will
anyways,
say, I do still go by Sydney professionally, so everyone at my work call me Sydney. If any school calls them asking for reference, Sydney is the name that they know, which is hard for the friends that I do work with, but it makes it very much easier. I actually moved down to college early. I moved down to college a week early because I got accepted to the color guard here where we spin
what,
flag and
what?
rifle. Go dogs! Yeah, so we had to come down early for band camp, as if any of you are marching band majors know. We train for a week before school even starts, high school and college. And coming down here, I was talking with my mom and our family friend who had helped move me in. I'm like, I don't think I want to go by Sydney here. I don't like the name. I don't think it suits me. I don't think it suits my new identity that I want. And I had thought on it for a really long time on the nickname I wanted to go by. And I settled on SJ, which stands for Sydney Janae, which is my full name. And that became my new identity, which I've embraced fully. All my friends love my nickname. They do not know me as anything else.
I love it. Yours sounds better than what mine would be. You know,
Just wanted a cool nickname for years. So
always wanted a
perfect
cool
opportunity.
nickname.
We'll come
Okay,
up with it. It'll
we'll
just be
come up
between
with
us.
one. We will come up with one. But before we end off, I do have a whole list of questions that I think would be really good to be answered to give our listeners just some ideas if they're scared from the high school jump to college. So, our first question is it normal to miss high school even if I wanted to leave?
Absolutely. The first year of college, I very much missed the high school environment where I knew everybody, where I knew where I was used to it. That's where the mentality of saying yes and always trying new things, even if it's outside your comfort zone, because college is one big adventure outside your comfort zone. I
Absolutely.
very much missed the comfort of my high school friends, my family, my hometown, even though I was desperate to get out of there at the time. You
Yeah.
definitely will experience some homesickness, but it's worth the leap.
There's so much more out there than your small town, than your high school. So please get out and take those chances and experiences because you only live once and it's okay to miss high school. I always look back at my memories on Snapchat or on Facebook. They pop up sometimes and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I was such a baby. Or like, oh my goodness, like I used to be friends with this person. And I'll always hold those memories in my heart, but it's okay to also take that leap and to explore outside of high school. Next question is, how do I survive the first week without knowing anyone?
I, in my experience, got very lucky. I was in the dorms. Not as bad as she makes it seem. It wasn't that bad, honestly. My biggest advice, if you get lucky, which I have, your roommate will become your best friend and your biggest lifeline here. At college, especially if you go into it not knowing anyone at all, including your roommate. Me and her have now lived together for 4 years. We got very, very lucky. And for the first few weeks of college, she was one of the only people I talked to and one of the only people I went out with. That being said, joining activities is also a great way to meet new friends. Going to school events. I know your school has Welcome Week. We don't have Welcome Week, but we have a bunch of new student orientation events. And that is where I also met a lot of people and got a bunch of free stuff, might I add. But
Yes, we love the free stuff in college for sure.
band is the biggest place I met people. I'm not friends with everyone that I met when I was in band over the years, but it definitely put my foot in the door to going new places, having new experiences, having people to ask to go somewhere.
Hmm.
I had a car. I was lucky enough to have a car at college, and a lot of my friends freshman year did not. So a lot of them connected with me and we asked for rides. So we'd go shopping together. We'd get our food. We'd go places together. Just trying to go places. Do not be afraid to go somewhere alone. That is another big piece of advice.
Yes, yeah, it is for sure.
It got to a point where a lot of my friends were either busy or didn't have time to do things with me. I had to be very good about going places by myself that I knew I wanted to go to and trying not to stand in the corner, which is the easiest thing to do. Branching out, talking to random people. Not only does it help you in college, it helps you professionally. I'm
Yep,
so good at starting random conversations now. I'm so good about talking naturally with people, which is really hard for me because I have social anxiety. It really does help you grow as a person.
absolutely. I think you said everything to answer that question. So I'm just going to leave it at that. No notes, no notes. Next question is, how do I keep old friendships while making new ones?
Relationships take work. We learned that
Yes.
the hard way.
Yes, we
We
did.
learned that the hard way.
Effort.
Effort. You need to put effort into all your friendships. You need to treasure your friends and your people equally, having time
Yeah.
for all of them. Yeah, it's really easy to run to college and never look back. But honestly, Eryn is one of my biggest support systems. She's one of the few people that I still
Mhm.
feel like I can go to for just about anything. And I'm very, very glad I kept that friendship because my
That
friends here
makes me
don't
so
fully
happy.
understand who I was before college, or they don't understand like just me as a person or my family, because a lot of my friends here can't relate to me on that level.
Right,
Even though we have very different family backgrounds, you know my family personally and you know how I was back then.
right.
So just putting in the effort to text you even once a week,
Mhm.
it took me a long time to get there. I'm terrible at reaching out,
Yeah, it did, but it's okay. We're here now. We're here
but
now.
like I don't think we had a phone call for more than like once every 2 months, maybe that,
Mhm. Yeah,
if that.
sometimes months without talking to each other, but honestly, doesn't change how I feel about her.
Mm-mm.
Like honestly, I also had to learn that the hard way that you know what? Your friends aren't always going to be around you in person or you're not always going to talk to them every day, and that is a-okay. That is 100% okay because
Mm-hmm.
you get older, you will realize life gets busy. People have their own lives, people have their own
Mm-hmm.
schedules, and it's okay. Sydney and I have really learned to adjust to that. I think we're good with that now.
Yeah, and not being each other's constant center, because for a
Yes.
long time we were each other's only friend, only
Right.
close friend that we
Mhm.
trusted. And us having completely opposite college schedules and times that we were even able to talk very
Yeah,
much impacted that. So just having to learn to function individually as well as a unit as adults is an adjustment, but it's worth it.
absolutely. What should I do when I feel homesick or miss my old routine? Honestly, get out of your dorm or your apartment. Do not isolate yourself. because if you isolate
Full honesty, I've completely reverted.
this
I've
year,
had a very, very hard year so far.
me too.
In my 4 years in college, I have never felt homesick, ever. This semester, I feel homesick at least once a week. So that's a very new emotion for me. I never wanted to go home. As much as I missed you and my dog and my mom, I hated going home. I hated not being here because I enjoyed it so much.
Right.
But this year, I don't know what happened and I don't know what's changed. So, yes, getting out is a very good way to do stuff. But I think the reason I wasn't feeling homesick is because I was distracting myself with stuff. I was just so busy that I never allowed myself to sit and feel.
Yeah,
And I think it's
definitely.
very important to feel those emotions. It makes you
Def
human because if you don't deal with it or feel it at the time that you should be, you're never going to adjust to it. And that's kind of why I'm struggling now. And I wish I had dealt with it back then. But honestly, now I just give myself time to sit and breathe and do things that I know make myself feel good. I go to the gym when I can, when I feel motivated to do so, not forcing myself to. I go for walks around my university. I watch TV. It might be bed rotting, but it makes me feel better. It is what it is. As for routines, I tried to keep as much of my routine from home as I could. I wake up in the morning early still, everything that I used to do just in a different place. It makes you feel so much more grounded rather than completely jumping to laying in bed all day because that sets precedent for very bad habits. And when
Mhm.
you have bad habits, you spiral, you cannot function, you cannot get the things you're supposed to get done. So in keeping the habits that I formed at home and the structure that I had here was a very easy, it helped me transition because I have not kept the same structure this year. And that's another reason I'm a little bit less acclimated to my environment. As long as you work hard and do your best to still be functioning without the reminder of your parents, it's much more easy to adjust.
Absolutely. This year, I have also been feeling homesickness due to many reasons, but we will get to that on
We'll
later
get to that in
episodes,
another episode.
I promise. But
That'll be a long one.
that yeah. I think I'll leave it at that. So, I will say, yes, my parents have been coming to my college more often than I had anticipated because going away was for me to experience individuality and independence and learn to be on my own. And have I been really doing that this year? No, not really. But also at the same time, I have been prioritizing my alone time. And I've been sitting with my feelings and talking to people about that and choosing people who I want to be around. So it's okay to feel that homesickness and to miss your old routine. And like Sydney said, you can incorporate your old routine just in a different place. It's totally fine. But don't resort back to old habits.
Because it's hard to get past it.
And finally, our last question is, what's one piece of advice you wish you knew before starting college?
Ooh, that's a good one. The same advice I gave you, it took me 2 years to learn. Not Don't
Yes.
be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to go on adventures. Try new stuff. Because my freshman year, I was so scared of everything that it took me until my sophomore year to find my true place here, like my sorority and the friends I've made now. I wish I had met them way sooner than I did.
I feel like my piece of advice is honestly to prioritize yourself, make time for you because you're constantly on the go in college and it gets exhausting. I think that's something that I really had to learn this year and I'm still learning is to prioritize me, make sure that I'm okay. And if I'm not okay, then I don't do something I don't want to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no. It's especially like jumping to college, you expect to be a partier, drinker right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, try new things, but not at the expense of your physical and mental health. So many
Absolutely.
people come to college and go out every weekend, or I know people who went out every night their freshman year during the week because
Mm-mm.
we're a party school, unfortunately. And they burn out by October. Yes, have fun and try new things, but not at the expense of your education because that is what you're at college for. You are at college
Absolutely.
to get an education, to be an adult. That's when you start acting like one.
With
Prioritize. Yeah,
yes.
prioritize your shit.
Absolutely.
Sorry for the language, but
No, you're so
prioritize.
right about that. No, seriously, you're right about that because that's what a lot of students have to learn really early on is, my goodness, I'm going out way too much. I'm not prioritizing my education. It's good to have a social life, don't get me wrong, but
Absolutely.
you're here to get an education. That's the
Mhm.
main. Yes,
It's a
it
hard
will
thing to
be.
hear.
It is a hard thing to hear, and yes, it's hard. Adjusting to being on your own for the first time, living on your own for the first time is difficult. It is. Getting into classes and doing your homework on a college level is a lot different than high school. They don't get on you and be like, "Oh, this is due tomorrow. Oh, this is due tonight. This is due blah blah blah." No, that's not what it is. You are there because you want to be there. You're not
Mhm.
there because you have to be.
Exactly. They don't care whether you do your assignments or not. They'll happily fail you. They won't
Mhm.
come to you and ask you what your issue is or why you're not coming to class. You're expected to show up and do the work because you might be fresh out of high school, but you are an adult and you will be treated like one.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I think that's a great spot to end. So thank you for joining us and thank you for listening
Yeah.
to I don't know if I told you. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with someone who needs it. Because remember, the truth is no one really has it all figured out. And that's the fun part. I'll see you next time on the next episode of IDK if I told you. Bye guys.